You got nothing. I'm showing I got Twitch going on. If you're watching if you're watching recording, fast forward 1 minute. We're a minute behind today, but we're getting there. We're getting real close. And I have an itchy. Okay. Do we have everything here? I think I've got everything ready to go. Okay. I don't know. Hello, everyone in Twitch world. Do pop up us a little note. Let us know that you're out there, not just lurking. Tell us where you're watching from. We're almost ready to go here. Let me see. Can somebody give us a verification? Can you see us on Facebook? On QTalk? It's showing connecting here. I'm taking that Twitch is up and running. Facebook is up and running. Oh, it only shows Twitch connected. Hold on. They're trying to connect everything else. You know, I can reboot. Let me reboot. You want me to do that? Do you want me to reboot? You don't see anything? Oh yeah, it's working on Facebook. My personal Facebook. Okay, let's take a look at QTalk, see if it's up there. Looks like we're having some technical difficulties today. I see. Yep, it's up on the QTalk page too. So we're gonna get moving here. Okay, so someone says they see me. Good, great, great. All right, thanks for checking. Andy, you ready? Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for checking for us and letting us know that it is working. Hello in Pennsylvania. Always lots of people in Pennsylvania watching. I know Pennsylvania's a thing. You know, maybe we should just move to Pennsylvania. Anyway. But thanks for checking and verifying, letting us know that we are out there. I think we're just running a little slow today. Checked the internet speed this morning as I was doing a little zooming, and it was just a hair slow. It wasn't like tremendously slow, so it should really be working. But here we are. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. Yay. Had a beautiful day yesterday here in Northeast Ohio. That's where we are broadcasting from. And we are broadcasting on 4 channels. Twitch TV, Facebook, and of course, YouTube. So if you are joining us for the first time, we have over 100 videos up there on YouTube and on Facebook. So if you missed anything, you can always go back and watch. However, if you're watching from Twitch, it only lasts for about 2 weeks. But hey, it is what it is. So here we are. And what are we doing today? We're doing step-by-step surprise. It's been a few weeks since we've done a step-by-step surprise. And just to let you know, there's only 3 more left. This is the third of the last 3. So if you haven't signed up for it, you still have an opportunity to play along with us for 2 more after this, but you can also register for this one. So what is step-by-step surprise? Step-by-step surprise is literally that. So every week we do a steps, and it is a surprise project at the end. You don't know what it is that you're buying. But there's only a few clues. If you look at the materials list and the project name, it sort of clues you into what we are doing here. Outside of that, you really don't know. So it's just sort of for fun. And so the next one we have is called boxes, and the last one is is lock it. Okay. So this week we are doing spherical. If you are following along and did not buy a kit, that's part of the deal. The only way you get the details and the instructions is if you place an order for the kit. Yes, the kits are still available if you are looking for one. So I think you guys can guess what the project is with the name Spherical, right? Yep, that's right. We're making a sphere today. The question is, are May kits available? Yes, I put up May kits for step-by-step surprise. Boxes is up and running. Oh, so the other thing too is if you didn't order a kit, we don't give all the details either because that's part of the program. So if you want to know exactly what the details are with the materials, you'll have to buy the kit. and to get the instructions. All right, so let's just jump in today because this is sort of where we are. What will you need for today's project? You'll need a chasing hammer. Do you need a chasing hammer? Yeah, you'll need a chasing hammer. You'll need a soldering setup. A bench block is going to be great for today too. A center finder or a ruler. You know, we're going to need to find the center of the discs that came with the kit. A leather mallet, a ring mandrel, a hoop mandrel, or a dowel rod is a good thing. And then a steel dapping block, because you're going to need these tiny little sizes to do what we're doing today. And of course we need corresponding daps to go with it. Some pliers, of course, a heavy duty plier. The Kibas are really great for this. And by the way, if you don't have the tools or you like any of the tools that you see, it is available on theurbanbeater.com. A pair of side cutters, a center punch, and a Sharpie. Probably some other tools are gonna come up along the way, but it is what it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. So you got a piece of wire. You actually only got a few things in your kit. There was very few items, but it's going to be a lot of fun, right? So you received a longer piece of wire than what I have. I'm using scrap, but do reserve about 3/4 of an inch of that long piece of wire. You're going to need it for later. So reserve that, set that to the side. I'm going to have a short piece here. And then let's jump in and start with the discs. Okay, let's go ahead and make these spheres. So you've never made a lentil or a ball before. This is the beginning of it. So I'm just going to use my center finder to find the center of this disc. Oh, glasses, that's helpful. And you only need to find the center of one of the discs. Okay, so we're going to do it like that. And then we're going to go ahead and center punch that right there in the middle with your center punch. Because we're going to drill a hole. Okay, so this is where you can pull out a piece of scrap wood, or if you don't mind drilling right into your bench, that's fine too. But you'll need a flex shaft or a pin vise to go with this project so that we can drill a hole. All right, a teeny weeny little hole. The hole. So this is going to be a high-speed drill bit. You do want to use a high-speed drill bit because we're drilling through metal, okay? So like that. And then we're gonna go right there in the middle. So funny. Every so often I get a drill hole that fights me. Wow. You know, we've had this problem before and I don't understand why every so often it just doesn't want to drill. Wow. Okay, it got hot and went flying between my legs. Hold on a second. And it fell on the floor. Okay, I will. Okay, I've lost my disc. I lost my disc. I'm going to have to do another one. While I'm at it, I'm going to grab a new drill bit. Yikes. Painful. I feel like today is going to be painful, of course, because, you know, I have something to do later this afternoon. Therefore, it's going to fight me on it, right? That's the deal. Okay, and then, see that? Now my wires are getting all over the place. Oy. Okay, we're going to grab another disc here. One day I'll find that disc again. So we're going to find the middle of the disc again. So questions about the May kits. Okay, so the Friday project, the Zoom projects for May, was the time capsule. So that went out a while ago. That's still available if you are looking to join us for some Zooms in May. And what else are we doing in May? That's about it. We have a couple of surprise projects left, and then we have time capsule for, I think, all of May. That's the scoop. I'm trying another drill bit just because I can. Make sure that your bit is running. Ooh, not like that. Make sure that it is straight in there before you go drilling anything, because it'll just break. There we go. All right, we're gonna have to center punch this baby again too. Just like that. A little bit of cut lube. Let's try that again. The reason for the center punch is so that your, look at that. The reason for the center punch is so that your drill bit doesn't drift, okay? And I'm going to take this right out of my flex shaft so it doesn't break when I drop the handle, because it's so small that it will probably break. Been there, done that, one too many times. All right, so now you have your hole. We're going to go ahead and dap it. So regarding the dapping here, what you want to be sure of is you want to make sure that your disc fits inside of the hole. So notice I moved from over here to a bigger one because it doesn't fit, right? So you want to make sure that does fit inside the hole. You also want a corresponding dap. The dap needs to fit inside too, unlike if we had it here. See how it doesn't go inside? This one is almost, but not quite. So I know it fits in here. We're just going to put right in there with the hole, and we're going to dap it down. Just like that. And we're going to do the second one too. So we're making a sphere, so you need both of these to be nice and round. Okay, so for some of you, this might be enough, okay, that you just want to make a lentil, really. But I want this to be much rounder, so I'm going to progressively move it to the next size smaller. Just like that. And keep going. Do the other one too. And you want to do these evenly so that the halves are the same, or else you'll have a lopsided sphere. It's a look. Not my look, but it's a look. And now I'm going to move to a smaller dap, just to make sure that this goes all the way down to the bottom, like so. And I'm going to move this one over here too. And then I'm going to check and see if I like it. But you can see that it is much more spherical than where it was before. I'm going to go just a little bit more. Be careful not to put it into a well that is too small. You see that? See how it's, let's see. You see how it's above the well there? If you put it in here, what's going to happen is you're going to create ridges on the side of it. So don't do that. Well, again, it's a look. If you like the look, I suppose you can go with that. There we are. Okay, so this very much so looks more like, oh, no, don't, almost lost it. All right, so now this looks much more round. You see that? So I like that shape. I'm going to go with that. Okay, set it aside. And now we want to sand it. Let's pull out some gloves today. Yes, I actually remember my gloves. You proud of me? Okay. Put that down. And we're going to sand, just like so. Can you believe May is almost here? Gosh, where did the time go, right? So I'm going to sand the edge of each dome until it is nice and flat. Okay. 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 And then I'm going to do the other one too. So you want both of them to be sanded nice and flat. You want to use a either circular or figure 8 configuration when you're sanding. This would be helpful to make sure that it's nice and even and all surfaces are being sanded. And I don't know if you can see there, but it's really nice and flat. And the reason why we want to do that is for soldering purposes. Okay. There you go. You see, look how nice and seamless that is. All right, so that's nice and prepped for soldering. Okay, let's go ahead and solder that together. Put some tools away here. All right. So then you're going to take your, before we solder, we're going to take that piece of wire. Remember I told you to reserve about 3/4 of an inch of wire. We're being really conservative with our wire because we want to make sure we have enough for the rest of it. We're going to make a ball pin out of this, and then we're going to solder these together with the ball pin inside of it. All right. Ball pins are pretty straightforward and really easy. All you need to do is hold your wire in a fire tweezer and make sure it is straight up and down, not tilted like this in front of the flame. And you'll see here, right in front of the blue flame until you get a tiny little ball. We don't need much of a ball here, just enough so that it doesn't pass through the hole that we've created. So we'll put this in here. You see? So this is what we're doing. All right, so next up, so this would be best if you do it on a honeycomb solder block. You can do this either in a bowl of pumice or you can do it on your tripod, okay? But we're going to take the half with the ball and we're going to stick it right into one of these holes, you see, so that it passes through. If your wire is really long, you can't put this on a solder board because then the wire would be sticking up. We want the wire to go through. That's why you want to put it either on a bowl of pumice or on a tripod so that the wire can pass through. All right. Actually, this might just hold it in place, but just in case, I am going to pin this so that it is a little bit more stable. Just like so. And then with a bit of hard solder, we're going to put solder on the edge of the outer edge of the other disc, and we're going to solder these pieces together. All right. So just a little, I like to use paste solder here, especially because it's so much more easily controlled. And I'm going to pull out my tweezers also, and I'm going to hold the disc. It's so small, but this will make life a lot easier. Let's zoom in so you can see what's going on. There we are. So you don't need to spread this like peanut butter, as I always say. You just want to put dabs in about 3 or 4 spots along the edge. There we go. Can you see that? See, just little dabs. And then we're going to flip this over and put this right on top. We want to make sure it's nice and even, because that would just make for less work later. Just like that. Actually, this pin is in my way. Oh no. Okay, there we are. I'm going to put a couple more pins in because I already know that as soon as I start soldering, it's going to slide. You think I've done this once or twice before, right? So I'm just going to pin it. I know it's a tiny little disc and a tiny little sphere, but you'll get it. All right, so here when you solder, what you don't want to do is you don't want to just come in from the top, because you have to remember that there is a disc underneath. So make sure that you're heating underneath that disc and not just over the top, right? So you want to make that connection. So I'm going to start from the bottom, and I'm just going to heat just like so, pointing down. I did not put solder on the ball pin. Question was, did I put solder on the ball pin? No, I did not. I want that to be running freely. So notice how I'm just heating mostly from the bottom and along that edge, not getting too much heat to the top, because residual heat is plenty, especially with this kind of a torch, and going all the way around until you see that solder pull through, yes, the entire edge, okay? All right. Oops. Stuck to my ball pin. I'm sorry, stuck to my steel pin, but that's okay. That'll come right out. And there it is. Let's check it. Yeah, very nice. So notice my ball pin is free, which is great. And I have solder all the way around. Yay! Okay, throw it in the pickle. Let's go to the next step. So with your wire, what you'll do is you'll bend it in half with the remaining wire. You'll bend it in half, like so. I'm going to take this down just a little bit smaller. And we're going to twist it. So I'm going to put this into the flex shaft to twist. You can do this manually if you prefer, that's fine. If you have a wire twister, do use that. Again, the reason why I don't use a wire twister when I'm teaching virtually is because I don't have enough of a camera angle to show you. Okay, it takes such a wide angle to see all of that. I can't do it. So I do it like this. But if I was in a classroom, we would always use a wire twister. You know, one of those safety wire twisters that are black and long, and you just pull on it. You can also put this into a drill. That would work too. And I'm going to pull out, oops, a small pair of pliers. I'm going to hold this here and twist it. Don't go too far with the twisting because you're going to shorten the length of the wire. Okay. But that's it. That's how easy it is to do. Next up, I'm going to run a little bit of solder down the length of the wire, so because we're going to hammer this, and that will keep the wire from coming apart. I apologize. I just dropped something. Give me just a second. Okay. Okay, so here I'm going to put a little solder on there, on one end, and just run it down the line, okay? Let's see. We'll use hard solder for that. Just a little bit. Again, just drop it on the end. The whole entire thing, because we want it to run down the length of the wire. And this will be helpful when we go to hammer it out. Sucks right in there. I'm sorry? So how long is the twisted wire? Yours is going to be longer than mine because I'm using scrap. Okay, so yours is going to end up. Let's see, it's going to end up at about 4 inches. Let me think about that for half a second. Yeah, it's going to be about 4 inches. You're going to have a lot of extra there because I provided a lot of extra just in case that you guys screwed up. So you don't need that much, FYI, but go ahead and twist the whole thing, okay? You'll have enough to do 2. So here, now that it's twisted, you can go ahead and pickle it or hammer it, but I'm going to go ahead and hammer it while I'm at it because I want to go ahead and anneal this again before I pickle it, okay? So I'm hammering it to about half of the thickness of what you started. There we go. So see how the twist stayed together really nicely? That's because I had solder in there, all right? So I'm going to anneal this again because we're going to bend it. And with all that twisting and hammering, hard wire. So we'll go ahead and anneal it again, quench it, and throw it in the pickle, okay? While you're in the pickle, grab the other piece out. Now understand that the lentil is hollow, so make sure you get all of the pickle out of that lentil, okay? It's not good to have pickle in there. And you'll feel it. So I'm just going to shake, shake, shake. Okay. Until it all comes out. Okay. There we are. Just keep shaking that out. Yep, still coming out. And another thing too is because if you leave the liquid in there, it's a bit of a heat sink. So you do want to get as much of the liquid out as possible. If I was just sitting here, oh, it's still coming out. If I was sitting here working alone, I probably would have soaked it in the water for a little bit longer just to make sure that I've washed the pickle out of it. Oh yeah, this thing is, you can see the wet spot. It's still coming out. All right, so if you were making this sphere for other purposes, you could have added some decoration to this. If you wanted to, you could have stamped this before we domed it. So that's something you can do since you're in your own studio. Another thing too is if maybe you just want a plain one, at this point what you would do is you would just sand the edges until it is nice and seamless. But you can definitely, if you did a nice soldering job, you can definitely remove the that seam from there and make it absolutely seamless. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a little bit of sanding because my edge was not perfect. I mean, it's off by maybe 1/8 of a millimeter. I can barely feel that, but I want to prep it for soldering just to ensure that it is nice. Okay. So I'm just using a little bit of 400. You can use whatever you want at this point, doesn't matter. if you have like a some sandpaper on like a tongue depressor like I have, that makes for a really nice thing here. Okay, here we are. Again, just cleaning it up just a little bit, okay? It's gonna get covered up here in a second, but I just wanted it I want it to have a nice smooth surface for the next part. I'm gonna pull out my wire now, twisted wire. Okay, so here's my twisted wire. Let's go ahead and trim that end. Just like so. And I'm going to use a multi-looping plier. You can use a round nose plier. You can use whatever works for you. A round bezel mandrel works also, but I'm going to make a quick circle. I think this is too small. Let's see. Yep, too small. So let's go up a step, just a little bit bigger here. There we are. There we are. And what we're doing is we're creating a sphere that is large enough to go around that edge that we just sanded. Okay, this is a little tiny bit big. I'll trim that down like so. Bring that edge together and retrofit it. Too big. And keep trimming. You really, if you don't have a pair of ultra flush cutters, it's going to be your friend here. You really want to invest in some. Promise. It's a good thing. Just like so. So close. Can you see that little bit of a gap? I'm really, really close. Let's make sure. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Despite that gap that I have, I'm going to go ahead and solder that closed, and then I'm going to reshape it and make sure that it fits around here. But I think that's the right fit. I'm going to move this sort of like a jump ring. If you have your bow closing pliers, you can use your bow closing pliers here. And we'll put a little bit of solder right there on that edge and solder that closed. That will make it a lot easier for you. Use medium solder or hard solder, that's fine. It's such a small joint, it doesn't really matter so much. Okay. You can see the solder on the inside there. Heat the whole thing. Heat, 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 heat. There it is. Okay. I know, I always tell everybody don't go back for seconds, and I just went back for seconds there, huh? If it's soldered, let it go. All right. Okay. So I'm just going to put this back into, or put it into my bezel mandrel and round it up just a little bit. With my baby mallet. So nice and round. Let's hope it fits. It's a wee bit tight. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it's a tiny, itty bitty bit tight, but I want it to be really tight, right? So that it stays on its own. And so now I'm checking to make sure that it is in the middle. Clearly it is not. There we go. I would like this to be nice and even. Let's see. It's looking a little wobbly. it's a little fidgety. I know those of you out there who are a little anal retentive are going to play with this for a bit. You know who I'm talking about. Okay, it's on. I'm pretty happy. Let's go to soldering. Okay, so I'm going to put some solder on here, and I'm going to actually, then I'll put it back onto my solder board. Okay, my honeycomb solder board. Let's zoom out just a little bit for you. Okay, so we're going to go to medium solder. Just a few little dabs. And you want to keep this really, really, really neat because you don't want the solder to get everywhere. It's not going to be fun to clean it up, but I'm putting it right next to the wire. And I think I'm going to do it in 3 spots here. Just like so. And it should flow nicely. So I'm putting it between the wire and the dome. Okay. Just like so. And notice I'm putting the head pin for the ball pin back into one of these holes. Because my wire is so nice and tight, I'm not going to bother pinning this in. It should just stay on its own. Notice how I said that, should, right? And I'm going to solder this together. And again, I'm going to heat from below and make sure that that bottom disc gets nice and hot. See how I'm pointing at that? Just like so. And heat over the top. There it goes. Nice. Gasket to go around. Make a great connection. Beautiful. Pick that up. This is going to be pretty. If I don't say so myself. Okay. There it is. All right, I'm going to throw it in the pickle again. And that is pretty much us for today. Next week, we're going to take it to the next step, and we'll finish it out next week. We're going to frame it out next week. So there it is. And yes, Debbie, just saying. Okay. For those of you who are on Twitch, commentary on Twitch up there, I can see some of the Twitch comments. Anyway, what else is going on? So on Friday, we are doing a Zoom along. So another opportunity to finish up those projects. Finish up those projects from VEC or any of the projects that you had going on. Actually, we had a request for the Zoom along this week to do the Motley Metal. So if you didn't finish your Motley Metal for, I don't know, 6 weeks, bring your Motley Metal projects and we will work on them on Friday. Just posted the Zoom link today on the QTalk Facebook page, so you can pick it up from there and join us for that event. It's free to everybody. We're just all hanging out, trying to enjoy one another's company and continue to work at our bench instead of working alone, because it's never fun to work alone. I'm pulling the piece out here. On Monday, we are going to continue with the series of Mix It Up Monday. And what else going on? Oh, yes, I'm still looking for submissions for UFOs for June. If you have a UFO unfinished object that you would like help with or would like me to finish for you, hey, send me a note, send me a picture of the project, and send it to me. We'll decide. I'll let you know if it's a project that I can help with, if I can fix, and I'll have you send it to me. I'll fix it and send it back. We'll do it live and have a discussion about it. The agreement there is if you just sort of have to like whatever it is that I I do with it. Anyway, there's my project. All nice and done. See? So clean that up. Take out a brass brush or some steel wool. We'll attach this next week, but this should give you something to work on this week, right? Instructions for those of you who ordered a kit will go out here shortly. written instructions, and you'll get the rest of it after next week. If you have any solder that has bled, I have a teeny weeny little bit here. Actually, you know what? Oh, I'm going to pull out my, check this out. I'm going to pull out my scratch brush, my nylon scratch brush. Oh, yeah. So nice. And clean this up. Let's see. Can you see that? I have a teeny weeny little bit of solder bleed there. If you have that and want to clean it up, just take out your sandpaper. Because I have so little, I would probably use 600. This is 400, 600. Because I'm going to make this a high polish later. So that's why I'm using 600. There it is. It was just a tiny little bit. And, you know, a lot of times people overwork this part. Don't overwork it. Just be gentle. Take off what you need. Try not to take off more than you need to. Scratch brushes and the bow closing pliers are quickly becoming like my favorite tools on the bench. I've been going to them quite a bit. Okay. Oops. All right. Cute, huh? All right, there it is. So, if you have any questions, if not, I will see all of you on Friday, if not next Monday, and we'll finish this project up on Wednesday of next week. So for now, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for joining us here and sharing our videos. If you find any value in what you're seeing, do consider contributing or buying a download. It's always helpful and it keeps us going. So have a great rest of the week and enjoy. All right. Have a good one.